Good morning, greetings, and namaskar. With this, we are today at the day 4 of Ignite 2021. What next? The past 3 days definitely witnessed active conferencing, brainstorming sessions, so much learning, so much recommendations that we received and we have witnessed and we have learned over a period of 3 days. And the day 4 looks equally exciting and equally enriching with the kind of august participation from all over the country and outside also, with such distinguished and august speakers joining us today during the course of the day. Today, the track is Smart and Safe Cities. And as we all know, that the government of India with the National Smart City Mission aims to develop, or they have already started to develop smart cities across the country, making them citizen friendly and sustainable. The objective is to promote sustainable and inclusive cities that provide core infrastructure and with the help of smart solutions. The focus of the government of India has been on sustainable and inclusive development, and to idea is to look at some compact areas, create a replicable model which will act like a lighthouse to other aspiring cities. Some of the core infrastructure elements are, and they should be also adequate water supply, assured electricity supply, sanitation, including solid waste management, efficient urban mobility and public transport, affordable housing, especially for the poor, and robust IT connectivity, digitalization, good governance, citizen participation, sustainable environment, so on and so forth and so forth and so forth, and safety and security of citizens, particularly women, children, and elderly, and health and education. All these come under the ambit of smart and safe cities, and that's how we envision it. And we are fully aligned with our vision with the government of India, central government as well as the state governments. The core strategic components of smart city missions are city improvement, that is retrofitting, city renewal, redevelopment, and city extension. Believe me, these are all theoretical information that I have been able to cull out from various sources. And I'm sure we will have the practitioners, the leaders who can talk effectively and perhaps in more realistic terms today. I will now welcome our August and distinguished guest speakers today for the inaugural session of Smart Cities of India, that is driving economic growth and improving the quality of people of life. We have with us Dr. Keshav Varma, Advisor, Minister of Urban Development, Government of Uttar Pradesh. We also have had the good fortune of recording Shri Rahul Kapoor, Director, Smart City Mission, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. We also have with us Sri Lalit Jain, Director and Special Secretary, Department of Rural Development and Panchayats, Government of Himachal Pradesh. We have NSN Murty, Partner and Leader, Smart Cities, PwC India. And we have two more panelists who are supposed to be joining us. So while they join us, we would like to start the session with all of you, sir. Before I go on to inviting our distinguished speakers, I would just like to give a brief of, I would just like to give a brief of, I think I've just lost out on the page, of how what we think today should be discussed. However, we invite uh, expressions and the work that all you leaders are doing. Those work should be discussed and deliberated upon today. But just to give the context to the smart city track, there is so much happening around making the world smarter place to live in. The smart city leaders and proponents have realized that smart city strategies start with people and not technology. Smartness is not just installing digital interfaces in traditional infrastructure or streamlining city operations. It's about using the technology and data purposefully to make better decisions and deliver a better quality of life. And because end of the day, the people, the users, they are at the helm of it, they are at the core of it. So it's important that we how smart and safe city vision can enhance the quality of life of the people, us, the citizens. Thank you so much. With this, I would request Shri Rahul Kapoor's present deliberation to be played here. He is Director Smart Cities Mission, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India. Shri Rahul Kapoor, sir.
To be a part of the Ignite uh, series. And of course, I'm sorry that I'm not here even virtually live, but I would like to share my views on this overall summit and the theme today, that is the Smart Cities mission, what we have achieved so far, and the way forward. Looking at the mission, which was started in 2015, and the idea was to basically empower cities to improve the quality of life of their citizens, build infrastructure, use smart solutions in a sustainable manner, and we have come a long way in the journey. Today, the cities have tendered out nearly 1,78,000 crores worth of projects, with nearly 1,40,000 crores of work orders being issued in our smart cities, and more than 40,000 crores of projects seeing completion. So there is significant traction that has happened. But it is not only the infrastructure projects that, as a smart city, we need to implement, because being smart is not only about the bricks and mortars that are going to get implemented in the city. It's about the brain, it's about the vision, it's about the whole idea of what smartness is. And this idea of smartness is very unique for each city. And in that endeavor, the Smart Cities mission undertook several key initiatives that would enable our cities, and not only the cities, but all the stakeholders who are associated with urban, to lead to that transformation that would lead to urban transformation in India. So, with this kind of an aspiration, the kind of initiatives that the Smart Cities mission has undertaken with regard to the data initiatives, with regard to initiatives on climate efforts, on sustainability and resilience, and on the way towards economic development of cities. So the three core aspirations that we in the Smart Cities mission are trying to fulfill are improvement in the quality of life of our citizens, improving the economic ability of a city to provide better economic opportunities, economic growth, and reduce the inequalities in cities, and make our cities more sustainable and resilient. Resilient towards pandemics, towards the COVID situation that we have faced today, and how our smart cities have responded to that. And just to throw a light on, today we have something like 53 integrated command and control centers. And these command and control centers actually were transformed overnight into COVID war rooms when the pandemic struck. And they have been very effective in management of the disease, in communication, in information dissemination, and in future preparedness. Preparedness by way of creation of digital models, predictive analysis, and use of data analytics and insights. And I think it is not only these 100 smart cities, but the idea is to basically take it forward to all the 4,400 plus urban local bodies that are there in the country. So the idea of smart cities is the lighthouse mission, the lighthouse cities, the demonstrable projects that get implemented in cities that can get replicated and scaled at other cities as well. So with this kind of an effort, these COVID war rooms, the integrated command and control centers have really gathered a lot of momentum, and our objective is to actually achieve all 100 smart cities with ICCCs in the next couple of years. So looking at that, the other kind of change that the smart cities mission is trying to bring in is the change in the way we design, we plan our cities, the way we think about cities. When bringing in that culture in our overall design process is by way of campaigns, and how we try to transform these campaigns to challenges. And why challenges? Because challenges seem to work. Challenges seem to motivate us. The whole spirit of competition, and the spirit of competition actually led to the formation of the mission and its unique selection strategy, wherein 100 smart cities competed with each other to actually participate and become a part of the to basically be qualified, eligible for the government grants. Now, looking at that same challenge philosophy and the spirit of competitive federalism, we have started a series of campaigns like the Cyclings for Change Challenge. And Cycles for Change Challenge is trying to bring about a cycling revolution in our cities. How do we make our cities more cycle friendly? The next challenge that we launched during the COVID time was the Streets for People Challenge. And the Streets for People Challenge is basically focusing on improvement of public spaces and including improving pedestrianization in cities, how to make cities more walkable. And then the nurturing neighborhoods challenge. The nurturing neighborhood challenge basically talks about how to make cities more friendly towards children and their caregivers. So when you look at all these concepts, these are the softer elements that go into making a smart city. So you have the infrastructure in place, but how do you make that infrastructure more accessible, more available, more attuned to the needs of these people, these user groups who have normally been ignored in the city planning? And it was not maybe intentional, but probably that capacity or that vision was lacking, and that's what all these challenges try to do. They try to start a dialogue. They try to bring in that change in your city planning, in your city designing. And I am very hopeful that this change that these campaigns are bringing in will go a long way in terms of replicability and scalability in other cities as well. If you look at the future, the mission is not only 100 cities, because of course smart cities is a journey, and it's not like after 5 years we say that we have all become a smart city, but the journey continues, and the journey has to go beyond 100. The idea of 100 was mainly that of an experimental laboratory wherein these kind of projects get demonstrated, and then the way to move towards the urban transformation goals, towards the sustainable development goals, becomes clearer with the roadmaps, with the manifestation of what a smart city is. And with that, I am sure with all our stakeholders coming in together, the academia, the industry partners, the city governments, and of course the civil society, we will be we are very hopeful that we will achieve our goals of urban transformation. Thank you.
So that was wonderful to hear Shri Rahul Kapoor. Now I welcome Dr. Keshav Varma, Advisor, Minister of Urban Development, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Sir, over to you. Thank you for joining us.
Rajshri, thank you very much.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate the opportunity, and I am going to share. Rahul spoke very well, and I'm going to share my own experience of being municipal commissioner of Ahmedabad at a time when Ahmedabad in '94 was hit by plague. It was officially declared bankrupt, and the political wing was also superseded. And that was the time when, and for almost 25, 30 years, Ahmedabad was showing cash losses. So we had to really think out a strategy. What is the problem? Our property tax collection was 27%. There were huge arrears. At that time, we had octroi. Octroi income was 30 lakh rupees per day when the city is such a commercially vibrant city. So the first step that I took, which I wanted to share, and it's important for a smart city planners and strategists, was to professionalize the organization. We have a huge issue of running cities which are undermanaged. We don't have professionals. We should have environmental engineers. We should have MBAs. We should have chartered accountants who should all form the core. And that is what we did. We brought in about 250, changed the cadre rules, and brought in MBAs, chartered accountant, environmental engineers, and started a new managerial cadre inside the municipal corporation. You'll be happy. I mean, when we started, the budget was 168 crores. I left for World Bank, it was about 640. Today, Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has 1,000 technical personnel. The budget is more than 10,000 crores. Now, what happened with us, one of the biggest issue was that we didn't even know who owed us money. And we brought in these people, created a management services division on the computer. We could exactly pinpoint where to put pressure, who owed us. Mostly state government and government of India organizations owed us tens of crores and they hadn't paid up. That happened. Property tax collections went up from 27% to 67%. In 3 months, octroi strategy was looked at again on computers and through, looking at which are the nakas and how to, where to focus and where to put pressure. The income went up from 30 lakh rupees a day to 1 crore 30 lakh rupees a day. We underwent a complete transformation. But the transformation was all about the professionalization of the municipal corporation. When we talk smart cities, we may give 500 or 600 crores, and unless these city corporations create their own in-house professional capacity, they are going to have these ad hoc instances of some money coming in, and it doesn't last. What has happened in Ahmedabad, that from 94 97 I was there, since then, because of professionalization and of course leadership of a lot of commissioners who came, the city has consistently grown towards towards this kind of a situation. Now, on building permission, on redevelopment, also where money comes in, because I think technology should be utilized for enhancing the possibilities and of the city in terms of generating resources. So even on building permission, we could actually, because of technology, implement a American system of impact fees, which really required serious look at what a building is, what is the FAR, and how much FAR can be marketed. So that was, all those things came in, and it helped. But what it helped really was to create a situation in which the governance system started undergoing a change. The municipal corporation started turning its face towards the people. I think in India, public sectors usually live for themselves. You look at Air India, you look at all these organizations. They are where they are. They have become, in a way, gridlocked vested interests. They have to turn their faces toward the public. And once you create this kind of professionalism and back it up with technology, what happens? There is greater transparency. People come to know. People get to know what is the next house, at what rate it has been assessed, while their house has been assessed for, say, about 3,000 rupees a month, or the next house is assessed for 500 rupees a month, while this whole thing is the same. So, it created a transparency and actually brought the people into the psyche of a municipal corporation, and created a lot of pride in the municipal corporation. We could float the first municipal bond. We were awarded the first time, without sovereign guarantee, a double ASO credit rating. And in 97, 98, the first city bond of 100 crores was issued with 7 years tenure and 14% interest. So, yes, technology can do a lot. Today, what Ahmedabad is doing is, every bulb, every pole, everything is under command and control. So is the licensing and other things inside. I mean, you guys should actually take a look at it. But one important issue, which you also said, Rajeshree, is we should not forget, in municipal corporation, boots on the ground in the front line is fundamental to back up all the technological changes that you bring in. It should not become a situation in which people kind of just sit in the air-conditioned confines of a command and control system and are not seen on the street. You've got to spend about 5 to 6 hours a day on the street. Now, let me stop on this part. Let me give you one final example of what we are doing. I'm chairman of Sabarmati Riverfront Development Authority. We are now developing an ecosystem which is green, which is what Rahul also spoke about, which talks about a 15-minute city. That you have mixed development on the riverfront. Of course, our the whole ecosystem is extremely attractive now. You have that kind of development there. You have mixed development. People live close to where they're going to work. I think the workplace will also need a redefinition, because I don't think we need mammoth buildings anymore. It has to be lighter. It has to be accessible. So we are looking and we have planned it. Now, the last thing I want to convey is that when we are putting in so much money, the urban development department, we have to focus on planning. It's, I mean, you can give a challenge. Okay, you have this road, and you have start cycling, and you start pedestrianization. Who's going to plan this? We are facing this problem. In Uttarakhand, there are two planners. The whole of Uttarakhand, there are two planners every day. Masuri and Nainital is gridlocked. In Jammu and Kashmir, there is a complete deficiency of planners. We introduced one planner there, and the whole situation changed. So every place, it has to be planned. We can't continue to create ugly, inefficient, and unhealthy cities. We have to plan them well. So I would like to emphasize at the end of it the importance of planning as a smart action. Unless we plan, it is important. And lastly, is the issue, and in India, this is the extremely important issue, is optimizing present assets. There is a great attraction among municipal councillors and everybody else to seek new projects and get new money in. But there is very little attention on utilization of these present assets. Sewage treatment plants and the things are utilized at 50, 60%, and they keep asking for more money. I mean, we have to have a policy, a smart policy for asset management. So let me stop here. Probably you should, when you have an opportunity, do ask us to present the riverfront development and the phase two, which is also wellness. And, we are talking about pure natural good health. We have planned it keeping the experiences of COVID in mind. So it's a completely new planning concept. But could be done because we had some services of some of the top firms in the world, as far as planning is concerned, spent 8 months of COVID on Zoom and other things to plan the second phase. So you got to have the patience to plan and then follow up, not just jump into it and this rush of blood to do things, and finally cities do not show the impact of the kind of money which is coming in. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Ahmedabad is an example for you to take a look at, and I wish all of you good luck for pursuing all these ideas, and I hope you also do it in J&K, where there is a need, imminent need. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you so much, sir. Your suggestions well taken. And just to share with you, yesterday we have had a speaker. I mean, he's been a very regular speaker with us. So he also invited us, and he also suggested that we should do something in JNK. So we are planning in the next few months, we'll be planning to take the smart cities initiatives and the digital transformation, and we can just take this conference network
Mhm.
in various states. So JNK is definitely in the pipeline, the planning for sure.
Thank
Sir,
you. Thank you.
yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful and very precise and compact vision address. And you have very rightly identified, pointed out that it has to be always at the people facing, and then technology is important, but that's enabler. Planning is equally important. We just cannot just create the ugly cities, and that's where I feel that the most of this I'm so sorry if I should be saying here in the public forum, but
No,
most
but
of
Rajshri,
this is
I am in Goa. I'm in Goa,
yes,
and I am seeing every day how the very value of Goa is being consistently destroyed by linear infrastructure and totally unorganized planning. The thing that attract Goa, people to Goa, are the things
right,
that are being destroyed. There is no
destroyed,
quaintness left. There is no beauty left in the environment, and this
right,
is how we are creating these cities. It's really a terrible thing which is happening right in front of our eyes. They're cutting 400-year-old trees. They're cutting all that kind of, just in the name of some villas and other things. People are landing up, and inherent value is getting lost. It's sad. But this is because we don't have planners with visions, and they
plans,
have
true.
no say in the whole. All right, thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And your feedback, your vision is going to be taken forward during the day also. And uh, yes, now I think I'll invite NSN Murty, partner and leader, Smart Cities, PwC, India, to kindly share your vision.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajeshree. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone who's listening to it. And it was actually a really pleasure to hear Rahul speak about what how the smart cities various investments generated outcomes during the COVID time. And I also hear Dr. Varma talking about the planning aspect of it. I think so, and therefore I want to touch something which is an experiential part of it. We have been associated with more than 30 odd cities, and personally, I have been associated with more than 50 odd cities in one way or the other. So something which I've seen it much before the smart cities mission itself came into play in 2015. So working from 2011 onwards on this thing, I think there is, and I also wanted to connect that with the agenda here: economic growth and quality of life. I think there are the main agenda when 2015 the entire mission came into play. It had the quality of life, economic development as one of the key pillars for doing this. So it was envisaged at that time, and in fact, when the announcement happened that every single rupee invested should earn about four more or attract four more. So a 1,000 crore investment should turn out to be a 5,000 odd crores total investment in the lighthouse, small part of the city, and should therefore create a replicable or opportunity across the city to start with, and thereafter the states can actually take it those an opportunity. I think we started pretty well. I think we spent a little bit more time on the planning side of it. It took almost 2 years to just get the 100 cities onboarded. So that was the first one. But the first wave, I would like to call it, and something which is something which is really learning. No one across the globe, any country, including the largest of the largest countries, have ever been able to do that, or still yet to actually achieve that feat, is getting those integrated digital assets of the city departments and everyone. And Dr. Varma will quite agree with me, as he has led the Ahmedabad municipal corporation. Despite all efforts by a municipal commissioner, the departmental heads, chief engineers, executive engineers, they work in silos. They don't like, because it's not about their intent is always there to actually work. But I think the subjects how we teach in colleges, these are verticalized subjects. Water is a verticalized subject. We never tell that how the water and the road will work together. It's a learning on the ground. So therefore the behavioral aspect is always that I am an expert on this, I know everything here, and I'll do my work here, and I'm an expert here. But I don't want to actually look at the collaboration part of it. How does it? So therefore I'm not, and again I'm just going to point out, it's a public forum, I'm not saying that people are wrong. I'm just saying that the way in which we have been educated in the higher education side of it, it actually gives us a very verticalized, water, electricals, roads. There is no subject called city policy making or a city IT. So there is no cadre which has been created, and that's the ask has been pretty long for a very long time. So all those things actually are the root causes, and creation of an SPV was to look at one way of getting over those root causes and say that SPV should be it's an independent company. While it gets staffed from everywhere, but it's an independent company with its own board of directors. Resolutions passed to actually create an HR policy so that it can hire resources from outside, and it has also its financial and the procurement methodologies which can be drawn upon outside of the state's own GFR guidelines. It can work as a company. So all those things were actually part of the whole agenda when it was created. Now what happened is, few of the things happened, and most of the things actually got delayed because of the various reasons. And we should actually appreciate that it's not easy to do something which has never been done in last 60 70 years. So there is a progress which happened. Digital took the first progress. And the reason that digital took the first progress is the same way why the telecom took the progress and the mobile took the progress in India, because the knowledge to manage that was with only few people. So how does a digital get implemented as a project was not a information or knowledge available with the city. Therefore, it allowed the city to actually use the consultants and the people from outside and let and depend upon them. Okay, and therefore all the digital projects went off and command and control centers, and globally I said no one. For example, Madhya Pradesh has done 7 cities together on a cloud-based platform. Across the globe, there's no such example. Tamil Nadu has done 10. UP is now thinking about several more cities integrated. Bihar is thinking about an integrated model. Punjab is thinking about integrated models. So those are there now learning. So, and in fact, globally also it's been studied and stuff. The migration of or repurposing of these command centers into a COVID war rooms, whether it is done in Bhopal or Bangalore or Agra or Lucknow, all these places, that was another example how we thought, and between the deployment of those digital assets, and there was a public outcry as well as various other institutions said that these command centers are of a wastage investment which is going into waste. But when the time came, how these command center transformed itself into a migrant helplines or a health COVID lines or providing the essential services on the ground, all those things, then I think that I have a collage of newspaper and the articles during that time, and I keep on showing that how the kind of a thought process that it's a wastage of money to a kind of an appreciation which moves to ICCC. So that's my second point. I think the first point is about, I think we did great planning, couldn't do too much on move forward in that planning. We actually let the digital take the first step, which was good, and but we criticized it, but it and turned out to be a high impact substance. And in fact, I think if you go through Rahul's whole this thing, I think 80 or 90% of the his discussion is on the digital part of it, which is so happy to actually hear that. But comes to the physical part of it, where Dr. Varma said, it's actually is struggling today also because of two problems. We actually started this mission with one of the most important problems, saying there is a lack of technical capacities on the ground. Now then we said, okay, so if there is a lack of technical capacities, can we get a PMC on board and do that? Now it was very good. We got a program management consultancy to do that. The PMCs, the large engineering firms, they wrote the DPRs of including the digital technology and the next gen, which are the best practices. Now the DPR, which is the next gen practices, has to be reviewed and approved by someone. But who's going to do that? When we have not created that skills or the knowledge at the city level or at the SPV level. So what happened is the same stuff went into the same set of teams, and they could not comprehend. And therefore, the delay on the DPRs took long time. The edits took long time. Everything happened a long time. And then again, the packages were started coming in. It was no longer, either it was a copy paste from a other city, or it was minus the digital part of it, because you can't then, and therefore the operation and maintenance is still bad. So that's why the physical infrastructure took so much of a time in taking. So the capacity, there are two things which I actually want to close my discussion with, and two thoughts from my side. One is, I think it's a company. We all need to realize that it's SPVs are all registered under the Company Act. The board should be empowered. The independent directors have to be brought in. They have to actually get those. It's not about actually complying to the act, okay, Companies Act. It's about actually getting the best of the guys in that city to ensure that they get directional view. Because unfortunately, fortunately, most of the CEOs of smart city are the municipal commissioners, and they have a very, very transferable jobs. Therefore, it is even more important that the board is very strong. That's part one. The part two is the expectation that the PMC is the one which will drive is wrong. While it's a music to my ears because it gives business to me, firms like us, but it's not the right way. I'm actually taking off the hat of a consulting firm and saying that PMCs are an interim measure the cities and the SPVs have to hire their own resources. There is no way out. Yesterday also I was having this conversation and I heard one of the directors talking about that, saying that they are hiring consultants to actually run this entire thing, but that's not the right way of doing it. You have to have your own people. You have to get your own people skilled up to the level that they can run the city on their own, because the loyalty, the passion only comes from the people who are in that city. Get more citizen units or various other departments engaged in it. That's what is more important. The good part of this entire thing is, and I think going forward on this, and I have a classic example of that. There are several countries which are looking at how India has been able to do it. It's very complicated. We still have achieved a lot, and I keep on saying pat our backs for that. Last 4 or 5 years, everyone has done great job, and there's a lot more to done. But I think there's one more thing is, and when I keep on hearing about how a couple of cities like Indore also, and I think Pune and others have been able to raise the municipal bonds. I think Indore went one step ahead. They actually raised the green bond also. So the SPV and cities like Agra and Lucknow and others, they have been able to use drones for the management. There are a couple of cities who have used drones for cleaning of the lakes. Public bike sharing has become very popular in cities like Bhopal and Chennai and other places. I think these are the small wins we should start celebrating, and make sure that these are actually taken up at the and institutionalized at the state or the central level, because the knowledge and learning now needs to go beyond the cities and go at the state and the central learning, so that they own it. And one of the things which I say, we have in the IS community, we rotate the IS officers for various functions in various departments, various cities. And I think its time has come. The executive engineers, chief engineers, EEs, Bs, they have to be rotated. Pick up the lot, put them into brackets. One is the learning bracket, second is the expert bracket. Experts should rotate around the state so that the knowledge is created. The learners should actually move across the state to learn the best practice. You can't actually keep them 25 years in one city, and therefore the learning actually is inhibited. I'll take a I'll pause here and stop here, Rachi. I have too many things. It's been almost like 10 plus years for me in the smart cities journey. Since 2011 to 2021. So I have too many things to discuss, but I think time is short enough for that. Thank you, Rachi. You're on mute, Rachi.
So I've been doing it in the past 3 days. Every time somebody has to tell me to unmute, and then I unmute myself. I mean, I also need to now prep myself for that. So thank you so much, Anderson sir, for this wonderful and very detailed, delineated account of how smart cities can function effectively. And Dr. Keshav Varma also spoke about the need for skilled workforce, and you have to have the experts. Planners are important. You also have spoken about the same on the same line as to how best can we think of making a city smarter. Unless we have the people who are working for it, the stakeholders, they have to be also be smarter through adequate training, capacity building, and um, there are many softer as well as the hard factors are there, and digital and physical aspects are important. Digital is a part of it, physical is definitely very important, because at the helm of it we are using those services, we are at the helm of it, so we have to do that. So we are also very happy to welcome I thought we would take few questions, but then we should hear Kinny Singh. She is chairperson Pasighat Smart City Limited. I welcome Kinny ji, and thank you for joining us. We have had wonderful discussion, but nonetheless, we'll hear you, and then we can just have one or two questions if time permits. Thank you. Welcome.
Uh, Thank you, Rashi ji. Actually, I was very unfortunate that I couldn't listen to Murty sir and Keshav Verma sir. Actually, my experience is very less in this smart city. As in, I joined as chairperson Pasighat Smart City Corporation around 1 year ago. And I just want to say that it was a very good experience heading the corporation at my age. And basically, since smart city is about transformation, so basically I could actually see that transformation happening in the ground in this short time only. And basically, there are various good things about it, as in we could collaborate with the stakeholders, we could collaborate with the citizens, and we started some good things in solid waste management and in the beautification of the city. And basically, we are planning to build a few things in our city. Uh, we could actually conceptualize riverfront development. We could conceptualize a few things by engaging citizens. I would say that smart city, actually, it is smart city mission of Government of India is empowering the corporation, uh, empowering the authorities and empowering the citizens as well. So basically, it is a two-way thing, and I am very happy to join as a chairperson of Pasighat Smart City Corporation Development Limited. Uh, rest, actually, I just have a very, I didn't prepare anything. So basically, you can ask, and I'm open for questions also. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, Kinny ji. And yes, when we have Dr. Keshav Varma and NSN Murty, so it's like 45 minutes and or 60 minutes, and the workshop happens, and you feel yourself so informed and prepared to take up next session, or you can talk about it. So for me, this is definitely an opportunity to learn in just 60 minutes workshop. That's how I see myself. So that's absolutely fine, ma'am. And Keshav sir and NSN sir, I have a question and I would like to hear from both of you. So there are rankings that have happened. There are few states that are smart cities that are really doing good on certain parameters, and there are smart cities that are yet to come of age. Your how do you see those who are at the last rung of the, what do you call that, ranking? What are your what how will you, can I request you to okay, you have already muted yourself. So can I so how do you see those cities that are at the lower rung today? What are the major, what do you call that? What are the major factors, and how do you see they going, perhaps moving a little bit up on the ladder A? And the readiness of those smart cities are very important, because yesterday we have had speakers from Manipur and Northeast, and they say that okay, fine, digital transformation is one thing, smartness is one thing, but end of the day there are many issues where we cannot talk about taking the help of technology at all, because issues are very basic. So in the regions like those, in the geographies like those, what are your take on, I mean, in the context of smart cities? Or I hope I've articulated the question. I
Let Mr.
hope.
Murthy react first, and then I'll.
Yes. Yes.
So I have okay. So lower ranking. So let me actually take a couple of steps back on this one.
Keshav.
The ranking of the cities is dependent upon the how much value of the tenders have been done, and how much of them have been progressing, and the completion certificates and stuff like that. Okay, so how much of the value? So it's a numerical value, and it has no correlation with the quality of the work delivered and the impact created. Okay, so
Okay.
therefore I will not worry about who's top and who's bottom, because it all
Right.
depends upon the ability of the city to attract the what you call a bidder in that city. So and the measure becomes bad if the city is little remote, or city is actually has a state has a troubled definition. So all those things will actually
Correct.
become part of the problem, which is the cities. That's not cities, actually the smart city plans problem. So let's
Right.
look at, has are we taking up projects which are leading to improvement in the project development and implementation as compared to the previous one? So am I able to manage, do a proper bid process management, and thereafter get the implementation done either in the shorter duration or whatever in the better quality? Is my is my quality of delivery improving? I think that's what is something which is more important than, and that's what I think the CEO, commissioners, and chairpersons will actually have a better view of this. It's not something which is, so they should feel happy about the work which is doing. So first one. The second is, I think one of the mission guidelines, and we have not followed it to the T. In fact, we have not followed it to very long, is every single project which was supposed to be taken up after the blueprinting is done, that the city has won the challenge, and they have to taken up the DPRs and the RFPs and everything has to be again given for citizen consultation. Okay, so the citizen consultation definition, as per the guidelines, it was supposed to be given to them so that they can say that yes, this is my input. It's not about objecting to it, it's about getting their inputs also into it. So make them an equal stakeholder in the process. Therefore, they will actually be bound to delivery and the outcomes and owning the outcomes tomorrow. And I would actually assume that Ms. Kinny Singh or Dr. Varma would have seen a lot of projects after which post facto citizens will come up and say that this is not good for me. Okay, whereas it was there in the papers and planned for almost a decade plus. So the idea was of the smart city was to take that lacuna and build into it. So if you do basic these two small stuff, I think it is not about the ranking. It is everyone will equitably improve in their level of delivery of the project. We cannot have one single scale for India. It was incorrect, or it is incorrect still. You cannot have one single scale. We always say that every city has its own soul and stuff, and then we actually put the same metric. It's not possible. So it's not correct. So I at least while I'm in this, I'm part of the whole. I'm one of the consultants. I am also at the ministry as well as every place. But point is, it's my personal perspective. Cities cannot be ranked. Yes, if they have to rank, they have to be much more matured ranking, which happens at the global level. A lot of international organizations, including Economist Intelligence, EIU, they go global rank, but do it for mature cities, not a city which one city is lacking and they have not done anything. And I know Pasighat is 26,000 or 28,000 population, comparing with Pune, for example, a million plus, uncomparable. Okay, so that's how the whole matrix needs to be rechanged, and I think self assessment is much more important than actually this matrix. I'm not saying that don't do that. I'm not saying at all, because that's important for your performance grant next phase.
So, Jayshree, let me. Murty has been saying some very important things, and I hope you're taking notes, because I was very impressed by the fact that the SPV must have professional directors on it. It can't be a group of bureaucrats sitting and not taking decisions or taking wrong kind of isolated decision. That's the important point, which was. Look, I'll just give you an example of the Lucknow bond. You've just done the bond in Lucknow. You received AA, did a 200 crore bond, and it was oversubscribed to the extent of 450 crores. Now, in today's environment, with the money flowing in as grant, I think cities don't have to go for bonds, if you really think about it. 200 crore से कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला है बहुत ज़्यादा. The issue is why I push bonds and credit rating is that it changes the culture in the finance and accounts department and of the municipal corporation in terms of greater transparency and accountability to the market. That culture change जो है, China में culture पे बहुत काम हुआ था. When I was director of urban development in East Asia, the Chinese senior officials were very concerned कि क्या culture बदल रहा है, क्या market based economy आ रही है शहर के अंदर की नहीं. वो culture अगर नहीं बदला, that is why we are pushing bonds, Now Ghaziabad is going to go in, we're going thinking about bond pooling and all kind of stuff. अगर वो कल्चर नहीं बदलता है और ये एक छोटा सा प्रोजेक्ट आके उसमें बीच में आता है, unless this project act as a catalyst for change, उसको एसेस करने की जरूरत है. हम जो अभी साबरमती में कर रहे हैं, we want it to be a catalyst for change for the CBD which already exists. कि उसमें क्या redevelopment आए हमारी वजह से, how it gets triggered. So you got to think this through. You need professional presence to really think this through. You need a SPV जो सोचे इस बारे में, अच्छे आर्किटेक्ट्स हों, पे अर्बन प्लानर्स हों, सारे लोग. ये नहीं हो कमिश्नर साहब के अंडर में बैठे हुए 6 महीने में, हर 6 महीने में कमिश्नर जा रहे हैं, हटाए जा रहे हैं, और डिविजनल कमिश्नर चेयरिंग कर रहे हैं, वो उसको डिसीजन नहीं ले रहे हैं. ये सब चीजें नहीं है इसमें. प्रोसेस इस तरीके की. आई एम गिविंग द एग्जांपल ऑफ अ बॉन्ड. पूरा कल्चर बदल गया लखनऊ का. आई मीन it had balance sheets which are not completed. It did not have audits. Everything has been shaped up, streamlined. Balance sheets are updated. Double entry systems have come in. You have audit which is taking place. Latest audited balance sheet. They know how to comply to say SEBI guidelines. They know how to comply with the market. So that is a new way of thinking and a more responsible, accountable way of thinking for a city administration. And this can't be ad hoc because bond का tenure is 10 years. तो पूरी credit rating को 10 साल तक sustain करना है. सारा system sustain करना है. तो उसमें कोई बीच में counselor या कोई बीच में आगे political अड़ंगा नहीं create कर सकता है, because we have created a very tight system of repayment. तो ये चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है. सिर्फ ये कि आपने इतने टॉयलेट्स बना दिए और आपने ये कर दिया वो कर दिया, वो सब ठीक है. और आई हैव हर्ड डीएस मिश्रा आल्सो टॉक अबाउट स्मार्ट सिटीज. ही आल्सो टॉक्स अबाउट कि मेंटल एटीट्यूड बदलना चाहिए. मगर मेंटल एटीट्यूड तब बदलेगा जब आपके पास लोग होंगे उस प्रकार के जो कि डिफरेंटली सोचने को तैयार हैं. अभी मुश्किल है. इज अ ह्यूज इशू in our cities that the cities are not administered by professionals. They don't get professional inputs, and they get them from consultants who are coming in and going. There's a huge gap between somebody from Murty's company coming out there and talking to a deputy engineer. और तो दोनों का तो वो ही नहीं होता है कहीं पर मिलाप. ना उसके समझ में आ रहा है आपकी जबान, ना आपकी उसकी जबान आपके समझ में आ रही है. ये चीज got to have professionals running cities. Only the cities are engines of economic growth. We have to think about fully exploiting the potential of city. एक लास्ट चीज, जिस दिन मैंने म्युनिसिपल कमिश्नर बना था मैं अहमदाबाद में 94 में, and it was bankrupt. I went and met the ACS finance and he said, भाई तुम्हें कितने पैसे चाहिए? मैंने कहा मैं पैसे मांगने नहीं आया हूं, मैं आपसे ये कहने आया हूं कि आज के बाद एक पैसा आपसे नहीं लेंगे. And he started laughing. मैंने कहा सर आपसे पैसा नहीं लेंगे. हमारे में खुद इनहेरेंट क्षमता है टू जनरेट रिसोर्सेज इनसाइड द सिटी. हमने सोचा ही नहीं उसके बारे में. हमने रीडेवलपमेंट को एज ए टूल नहीं सोचा. अब दिल्ली का हाल देखिए, जो कहीं पर भी ठीक से डिप्लॉयमेंट ऑफ फंडिंग एंड स्केलिंग अप और लेवरेजिंग फंडिंग, इस चीज के बारे में सोचा ही नहीं गया है ठीक से. और सोचने वाले ही नहीं है. किसी का समझ में नहीं आएगा भाई क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप लेवरेजिंग की बात कर रहे हैं. अब वो डीडी 35,000 करोड़ लिए बैठा है, उसने एफडी में डाल रखा है, वो उसको लेवरेज नहीं करने को तैयार है. समझिए आप, वो दिल्ली का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वो इज इन अ मेस, मगर वो अपना पैसा लिए दबाए बैठे हैं. सो दिस ग्रिडलॉक ऑफ अंडरवैल्यूड रिसोर्सेज इन आवर कंट्री, ये तो लाखों करोड़ में होगा हर जगह अगर हम उसको ठीक से अनलीश करें. सो हाउ मच मनी वी कैन रियली अनलीश इफ वी गेट प्रोफेशनल्स टू डू दैट. हम $5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी की बात करते हैं, हमें प्राइम मिनिस्टर का पूरा विजन इससे हो जाएगा कंप्लीट. So I Jayashree, let me stop now. I hope I have been of some value to you, and मैं निकलता हूँ यहाँ से. आप फिर वो म्यूटेड हैं.
Yes, sir. Again. So, sir, thank you so much. You have absolutely contributed so much to the objective of the session, of the track also. And we have a question from audience for NSN. What is your views on last 5 years and next 5 years of smart cities, and what is your view on smart 2.0? First of all, smart city, have we achieved that smart city 1.0 smart city at all? And then perhaps you can reflect on that. How do you see it? NSN, over to you.
No, okay. So I have already spoken about my views on the last 5 years.
Yes, yes, yes.
At
Quick,
last,
just quick. Yeah.
that's. I think there's been a so I still say that there has been a lot of achievement done, and the evidence of that is, I think, a city which was not known to anyone for in the last 5 years. Pasighat, the chairperson is sitting in this conference. So I think people didn't even know. I've been to Pasighat at least a couple of times. So that's one of the things, that the cities have been brought into the limelight. That's part one. Part
Right.
two, there has been a digital intervention in the cities which actually created some value, and that impact has been seen during the COVID times. The third is there are software projects which have been taken up, and it has yielded some kind of an impact, uh, and needs to be done. But now there is a push towards the infrastructure, with the large infrastructure focus of the government, and the water focus by the government, pollution focus. I think there are few more things which will come, and that will go on. The final thing is, at least there is a binding force within the cities available today as an SPV, which can command saying that, okay, if I have to do a project, there is a vehicle to deliver that project. Okay, so that's created. The only thing is, can I actually create more capacities? Don't depend on the PMC. And I completely agree with Keshavji. The PMCs are only interim. They should not. You need to create your own capacities. So get everybody else onboarded and stuff like that. So that's part one. Next 5 years of smart cities, I think I'll not say next 5 years of smart cities. I think next 5 years of those projects which have been done. So let's divide into two parts. The projects in which we have done the capex investment, I think the responsibility of the SPV and everyone is to ensure that the operation and maintenance of those projects are done pretty well, so that those continue to be the lighthouse projects for that city and for others. That's part one. Part two is continue to follow the blueprint to deliver the rest of the projects. On an average, every city took up about, said that they will deliver about 35 projects under the smart cities challenge process. Must have done about 10 or 15 till now. But I think the duty of the every city SPV is to complete that thing and take the full grant, both from the state and the city, and get everybody involved in that. I don't have a view on the Smart City 2.0. I don't know what Smart City 2.0 means. And I think that question should be answered by Rahul, not by me. So I would just say that I think what we have on our hands should be done. I think we should finish our job first and then move forward. Think about the next one.
Perfect. I think I'm unmuted now. So I think with this, Kinny, do you have anything to say here?
राजश्री एक्चुअली सिर्फ एक दो पॉइंट ही हैं जो मैंने अभी सुने हैं. आई एम एक्चुअली वेरी जूनियर और मेरा एक्सपीरियंस भी थोड़ा कम है अभी पासीघाट स्मार्ट सिटी का चेयरपर्सन होके भी. So, but I just want to say कि in a city administration, basically smart city corporation has actually empowered city administration, and we can actually take a line now. मतलब we actually have some professional help also. So administering a city of like 28,000 population only, and उसके बाद basically क्या क्या projects हो सकते हैं और as in professional help भी है. So it is a good opportunity. It was a good opportunity for me, and I'm currently exploring only, so I don't have many inputs to give. I can just say ki the professional thing of it, we are actually learning, and there are people on board, and basically one thing that as NSN sir has said ki you cannot compare one city with the other, as in I cannot compare myself to Lucknow, I cannot compare myself to Delhi. But yes, lives of people are definitely changing in Pasighat, and basically it is affecting the lives of people, and I'm hopeful also and optimistic also that that change which is being sought for, it will come. It will come.
वंडरफुल. शहर छोटा हो या बड़ा हो, पॉपुलेशन कम हो ज्यादा हो, जरूरतें उतनी ही है, आवश्यकताएं उतनी ही है. So I'm sure this was quite a learning session for me at least. And in the sessions to come, we have so many commissioners talking about the best practices that they have adopted, and they are implementing also. So it will be a good learning day for us for under this smart and safe cities track. And I thank all of you. Thank you, Dr. Keshav Varma. Thank you for joining us, sir. And Dr. Shri S.N. Murty, sir, from PwC India, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. And Kinny Singh, Chairperson Pasighat Smart City Limited. Thank you for joining us. And we look forward to have I think 3 or 4 panel discussions today to conclude the Ignite 2021. And thank you so much for helping us, guiding us, and taking us forward. Thank you, sir. No words today. All
Thank
gratitude and
you.
thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Thank you, Kinny.
Yes,
Thank you,
yes,
Raj.
yes,
Bye-bye.
yes.